2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off. All right, well, here, we're live. I think if I can get my mic going through, hopefully you guys can hear the audio right now. If you could give me a thumbs up that you can hear this. It's the C3 Panthers at Colts post-game show. Can't get the audio to work right now until I get Cody talking, but I'd like for everybody to be a part of the show by calling into the Cat Calls line 252-228-5098, as well as subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. Cody Lashney in the house. The Panthers fall for their 7th straight loss.
Basically, I just said this is a very disappointing football team. They don't play for each other. They don't play for them coaches. It doesn't even look like they're playing for themselves. I'm not really mad at Will Grier for some of the interceptions that he threw. I believe that he should have been playing football a lot earlier for the Panthers. But I don't blame him for trying to take some chances and take some shots and move the football and show what kind of arm talent he had. And has, and then there's a lot of other stupid things that I have no explanation for, man. So I'm here for my therapy session, just like our entire chat room is. The most lit Panther chat room on YouTube, and it's still right here with the C3 Panthers podcast. Jeff Hodge, Jeremy Clancy, Sarah Taylor, Tommy Doc Martin, Tyler Lovato, Tony Dunn, and nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
All right, so the Panthers, like I said, fall in their 7th straight loss, and really it wasn't I was actually heartened by the performance of Will Grier, to be honest, Cody, and that is that he didn't seem completely overwhelmed. They kind of had a tough beginning. I thought that they did the right thing by getting the ball, by then trying to be aggressive with it. He was, a little nervous to start in that first drive. He missed on, 2 passes, but it was like they asked him to pass the ball 3 times in a row. So that was tough, but he didn't make a giant mistake at that point. But then the Panthers, their special teams, it was just horrendous today. It's just gotten worse each week. And on top of that, so you get a 50-yard return or a 40-yard return on that first drive, and then they score a touchdown on that, right? Is a good field position. They're able to capitalize. But then we come out and we, 3 and out it, is kind of predictable, but still no giant mistakes. And then we punt the ball, and my man takes it to the house, straight to the house. And it wouldn't be his only punt return of the day. For a touchdown.
And how about this? Even more infuriating about our special teams is that Brian Burns got hurt playing special teams.
He also saved that first punt from being a touchdown.
Brian Burns is the linchpin of our special teams, dude. And it sucks to say, but it's real. I don't know, man. It's so stupid. Why, and we just continue to mismanage the players that we use on field. Dante Jackson was benched in one point at this game, which I don't know if you're just trying to send a message to him to shut the hell up, or if you actually think that you stand a better chance with Ross Cockrell, which, by the way, I'm not even saying that's wrong. Maybe Ross Cockrell should be playing right now. I don't know, but there is this air of ignorance around the coaching staff where we just refuse to play our young players in the best positions possible. Vernon Butler got ejected from the game today for just doing punching a dude in the helmet, which it wasn't even the dude that was extending the block too long. This team is just the definition of undisciplined right now. No one's playing for each other. Everyone's playing selfish football. And there was even a video on Twitter of Luke Kuechly going off on the linebacker coach. Like there is dissension in that locker room. People are mad at the play calls. People are mad at personnel usage. It's a dumpster fire right now.
Dante Jackson did not play at all in this game, right? And that was, I guess, punishment and for his poor performance last week. So everything you said has been spiraling out of control. In some ways, the defense was bad. But again, if you didn't have that those punt returns, well, the defense was awful. What am I talking about? But the punt returns just decimated this team in some ways, or special teams just in general. One thing I did think that was interesting, Cody, is that when the Colts go up by 2 touchdowns in this match, all of a sudden it actually took some of the pressure off of Will Grier. And what I know that you're saying, well, oh gosh, you don't want this guy playing from behind, right? And that's an impossible situation for a young quarterback on his first start, which I do agree with those things. But he didn't blow it for the Panthers. So he was almost playing with house money. It was like this, is that if we lose this game right here, you can't walk out of here and say Will Grier was the reason. And then you saw him start to loosen up a little bit. He started making a couple of throws. They got Christian McCaffrey involved. Christian McCaffrey continues to be the best thing on this football team. And they were able to move the ball a little bit. They go down the field. They couldn't convert on that 4th down. In the red zone. You know, he threw a couple of good balls there. One that, I mean, they just didn't come down with them in every case. So they punt the ball back. We're able to stop them, get the ball back, and actually we were moving the ball somewhat well for a little while we were down 21-3 at one point. It didn't feel like the Panthers were completely out of it. And I think that that's kudos entirely to Will Grier in that, not entirely, but the offensive line continued to be trashy, right? Everything about this team continued to be awful. That has been awful all season. And I thought Will Grier came out of it looking better than people said he was going to look.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Will Grier. There's a few interceptions that I feel our receiver just didn't make a play on the football. I don't even know who number 18 on our football team is, but that should have been his catch at the end right there. I have no idea, why our offense kind of sputters like this. The play calling, I didn't think it was too good today, but no, you're 100% right. You cannot be mad at Will Grier. If anything, we should have been playing him a lot earlier than what we did. Will Grier, he's playing with house money. Throw the ball down the field. Show what kind of arm talent you have. And that's what he did. I'm not mad at him for trying to make a play and trying to do something for his football team. Once again, we see that no matter who our quarterback is, our offense still runs through Christian McCaffrey, and that hasn't changed. That's not going to change. And McCaffrey is incredible. But everyone else on this football team, they're ready to go home, man. They're ready for this season to be over, as bad as you and I are. And it kind of sucks that we didn't decide to play Will Grier earlier, because now we have these performances from our team where no one cares. They're dejected. They're not playing for anything. So the offensive line isn't playing well. That's going to hurt Will Grier. Dennis Daly has not been playing good football. Darrell Williams is getting his ass whooped. Our offensive line is porous. But yeah, and as Brother Herbert mentioned in our chat, shout out to Will Grier. He does not fumble the football when it gets hit. So that is one thing that he does have going for him over Kyle Allen. Overall, I think it was the stats won't confirm it, but Will Grier didn't have a bad day today. I'd much rather watch him as the quarterback for the Panthers than Kyle Allen.
It might be difficult watching the Carolina Panthers right now, but if you are one of those fans that wants to see them until their final breath, go to vividseats.com. You can download the Vivid Seats app if you want to check out a Hornets game or a Hurricanes game. Vivid Seats is a great way to get a ticket you want for a price you like. Vivid Seats app is the Vivid Seats tickets 100% buyer guaranteed. You can sort by price, you can sort by location, you can sort by event, and I tell you, it is easy. Recently, I was in Nashville, and we were able to look up just some tickets to a Predators game versus Vancouver Canucks, and it was simple, easy. All you have to do is go download the app, use the promo code OVERTIME. That's the promo code OVERTIME, and you can get up to a $100 discount on your first ticket purchase. Vivid Seats app, go check it out. A ticket you like for a price you want. All right, you take over the show a little bit and you tell me what you want to talk about now, because I'm continuing to struggle with the output now, the audio for the cat calls. So you lead the conversation, Cody. What do you want to talk about now after this game? You continue, look, 7 in a row, a lot like last season.
So Bill Daltreve in our chat says, does anyone know of Brian Burns' injury? I have Twitter up. I'm continuing to look to see if we know anything about Brian. I have not found any confirmation of how he was hurt. Vernon Butler is he's already doing interviews saying how apologetic he is and how he made a mistake. And listen, my man Vernon Butler is definitely going to receive some fines for punching a dude in the head and throwing the middle finger while the camera was on him.
Oh, God.
Yeah, dude, knowing that you haven't been a productive member of this football team for going on 5 years now, and then you want to, pick a moment in time where you're having a career year playing football, at least for your own stats, and you want to go and potentially ruin your future with any football team. I mean, it's so dumb that honestly could have cost him his career. I mean, that's what we're talking about. There's no discipline, man. All of our listen, I have no sympathy for our coaches. When Ron Rivera was fired, we were, oh, hey, Ron, thanks for the good times. Thanks for all the wonderful years of being the coach for the Panthers. I have no love for anyone else in the building. Perry Fuel, Eric Washington, the linebacker coach. Dude, I'm ready to do a 100% coaching rebuild. Our coaches are absolutely terrible. No one's held accountable. The play calling on defense is terrible, to the point now where Luke Kuechly is starting to be visible on the sideline. It's bad, man. There is no leadership in this locker room, it feels like, from the players or the coaches.
All right. Well, I don't really know what the hell is going on now that I can't hear the damn audio. That's the worst part about it. So as I continue to work on that, we will get to your cat calls as we're going through. Let's feature some of the comments in the chat room, Cody. Here's one. Is Civil Preach says, because Fuel in Washington can't handle the defense, is that this team has not, if you're Perry Fuel, you want to get the hell out of here, right? You just want to get away from this team, right? Nobody is looking good for their continued audition into next season. And Vernon Butler, I think, is the epitome of that, is that a guy who actually potentially got showed that he might be a football player this year at the end, may have ruined his chances of getting anything right here. Is like, who's going to pay you? It didn't help his stock today. And I don't know if we've seen any players that their stock has improved, and that goes to the coaching staff too.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to Tyler Lovato earlier in our chat, said ready for Cody's get to know a potential Panthers draft pick segment. I'm excited as well, my friend. I'm looking forward to looking at these college football players. And yes, that segment is coming back to this podcast with a vengeance. We're going to have a lot of fun dissecting these college football players and thinking about them in Panthers uniforms. But Vernon Butler, to what we're saying, was a first-round draft pick. He was an insurance policy in case K1 Short didn't sign his contract, which he had yet to sign at the time. And now we're just kind of in limbo right now with the player that we had high hopes for, and then just turned it on a little bit too late. And it is what it is, man. To the man's credit, he's very apologetic about it on Twitter. But I don't know. It's I don't even know if I blame him too much, Tony. It feels like our locker room right now, there's no North Star. There's no direction forward right now. And, everyone's kind of, playing for themselves. That's why I said earlier, no one's playing for one another. No one's playing for the man next to him. Everyone's playing to go home. And it causes these embarrassing performances by teams who I don't think the Colts have a better roster than we do, but this is a demoralized football team with the coaching staff that's very in over its head. And, yeah, I'm going to the Saints game next Sunday, so I might be a little late for the post-game show, but I'm going to have to listen to my brother, who was a diehard Saints fan, shit-talk me the entire time while I watch the Saints put a beat down on the Panthers. So pray for me, y'all.
God of Blackness. Hit him up. Shout out to God of Blackness for donating to the show. Says bring Trey Boston back. It helps. At least gave a little fight. He's actually been one of the reasons, the only thing we've had that's been part of the fight. It's been tough.
Been bad. There are people online
in a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions.
I wouldn't mind having him back for another year too if we don't draft the position. But hey, we might not draft a safety this year.
Oh gosh!
Apparently, we have a bunch of other needs at a lot of different spots as well. So,
all right,
Trey's been okay.
Cody, one of the things that I have learned here is that the calls are playing right now, I think. Let me see. Hopefully I turned it off.
I wouldn't mind having him back.
Okay.
If we don't draft the position.
So I figured out how I screwed something up, and what is going to have to do is you're going to have to listen to the calls on your audio right now, because I can, for some reason, it does not explain why it's not outputting so you could hear it. So
it's on the YouTube video?
Yeah, or through us. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what's going on. It's going to take me investigating this. As one change I made before the show culminates in disaster. So what we're going to go ahead and do is, Cody, let's go ahead and jump into the calls, right? And we will then, if you need me to help highlight what you missed, or if you can listen to it lightly on your end, that'll be good. All right?
All right. Yeah.
All right, here we go. The number's 252-228-5098, and hopefully this will work, and we'll get things fixed at some point. I guess. I don't know. I'm so disheveled right now from not only this game, but just the show itself. Where do we go going forward? Who knows? Here we go.
No, Tony, you did not block my number, but
I think this is it.
Cody, we got a
I
problem,
can't even hear
buddy.
the fucking call.
Caroline Chan just got engaged to a member of the Indianapolis Colts.
I think this is Joey Esquivel.
Back to square one, buddy.
50% of next insurance customers.
Just like with this offense, actually. Anyway, see you later, guys.
Oh no!
If y'all are doing a post game,
What's up?
anyway, see you later, guys.
Oh no!
All right, you catch me up because I couldn't hear the
Yeah.
call.
So no, Joey Esquivel just informed me that Caroline Can is engaged to a member of the Colts coaching staff.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, dude, listen, I'm a home wrecker, dude. I don't care if you got a husband. I'm coming for that ass, boy.
All right, next call.
If y'all are doing a post game, because I don't see that y'all are scheduled to go live.
What?
Damn it, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, what do you guys think about Ross Cockrell starting over Dante Jackson? I actually like it because Jackson kind of, he likes to talk shit, and he likes to play like shit. And Cockrell is playing really good. Granted, it's against the Colts offense that's not making the playoffs, but he's still having a good game. And, you know, I look forward to attending Panthers Anonymous meeting because my spirit is taking quite a beating. Even though Will Greer's doing kind of good.
And there's really not even anything too good to talk about at all. Is this the bot? Did Christian McCaffrey hit 100 catches today?
Yes, he did. And he becomes the first running back ever to do it. He broke a record. I don't know.
No, there's definitely Matt Forte, I think, had 100 catches like 3 years in a row.
Yeah, I know he broke something. I don't know exactly what it is, but he's on pace to have 1,000 yards rushing. He has one game to get like another over 100 yards receiving. So maybe him and Will Greer can break that. Brandon Herbert said he broke his own record of 107. He's at 108 catches now. So, yeah, McCaffrey's the man. Did you hear the call, Tony? I heard the call. I had to listen to the YouTube video.
No, I heard half of it.
So it was basically saying, what do we think about Dante Jackson being benched in favor of Ross Cockrell? And Ross Cockrell didn't really play that bad today. He actually played okay. Played pretty good in certain stretches. Now, again, no one is playing fantastic. But Ross Cockrell hasn't been too bad. Are you in agreement with benching Dante Jackson?
Yeah, I think so. Is that I mean, I think that's the way you teach young kids. You know, or I think, yeah, I think so. It's like I ain't got no problem like that.
We've been trying to teach Brian Burns by not playing him. Have we been putting him in timeout because he's been?
I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, our defense doesn't look like they've ever played defense before.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And it just doesn't make it just doesn't really make any sense why we're this bad. And the fact that things are getting worse shows that I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Is that I was going to say I think in response to his Panthers Anonymous point is that I think this is what it's like to be at the bottom, to hit rock bottom.
Yeah, and then shout out to Rex Smith who asked why is Christian Miller a healthy scratch every game. I don't know. At this point, I'm kind of thinking it's a money thing with Addison and Bruce Irvin. Maybe they're just guaranteed a certain number of snaps, and they're just trying to get paid before they both peace out next year. Because it's a very that is a legitimate point. We don't know what the future of I keep trying to say Brian Burns instead of Bruce Irvin. Bruce Irvin and Mario Addison is going to be. They only have one more year, which this is the final year of their deal. So I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to give them more snaps for contract reasons. I couldn't tell you, man. I just think it's such a wasted opportunity when the Panthers aren't playing for anything, that you're not going to put out your young talent on the field and let them go fight for something, man. Let them fight for their futures. Let them fight for a shred of dignity, even, which is something that no one on the football team has. So, yeah, I go into every Sunday expecting nothing, and yet I'm still disappointed almost every time.
Yeah, so today's game was worse. Today's game was worse than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I didn't expect anything good, but yet I'm still hurt.
Right. If you have zero expectations and then your expectations are still not met, that's a bad feeling.
It's bad.
That's a bad feeling. And I think it goes to this, is they just look so unprepared at everything. In fact, I thought that Will Grier probably looked the most prepared today out of half the damn team, and he hasn't played at all. So why is the defense just so horrendous? Can it just be injuries? I don't believe it. Why is it that Darrell Williams and everybody on the offensive line looks worse each week? They're not playing better. And I mean, maybe today was actually a little bit better than it has been in some cases. But I thought Will Grier was great in a sense, for he was, he threw the ball away at a lot of times that there wasn't anything there. I thought you said that he went through his progressions far better than what I saw from Kyle Allen. He does look to have a stronger arm. He looks to have a stronger arm than Kyle Allen, I think. There's a little bit, like you said, there's a little bit more like a lively arm, as I think how you described it. There's a little more pep, a little bit of pepper on the passes. And if he could just hit some of those intermediate throws, like the guy on the broadcast, what's his name, the former Denver Bronco guy was talking about, he wouldn't have had a bad performance. It's just, how does the defense continue to look worse each week? I don't understand this. And I think that's where the expectations that you're talking about, low expectations, and we just look like we've never played football before. And it even comes to this, is that we had Hogan returning punts. Did you see him try to long step or whatever he tried? He looks so slow. If Colin Jones is the fastest man on the football field, Hogan is the slowest. And he was working hard out there today. He was actually fighting some. I don't even know where to start, Cody. I don't know where to start.
I think, how about this? I think Perry Fewell and Eric Washington are like Dumb and Dumber at this point. They don't know how to use our personnel. They just don't know what they're doing. I think, and I've said this, I'll continue to say it, the more you continue to see the visible frustration of players like Luke Kuechly and Gerald McCoy, and then, it reared its head with Dante Jackson, but Brian Burns has been critical of not getting enough snaps. It's a combination of, we were talking about Eric Washington pretty negatively even last year, and he hasn't done himself any favors this year.
He might as well not even be on the team.
Yeah, and him
as a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, him and Perry Fewell too. Like I said, I'm done defending anyone on this football team. No one is entitled to a job.
Except for Christian McCaffrey. That's it.
Yeah. But I mean specifically on our coaching staff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Our coaching staff, we had some reverence for Ron Rivera after he did a lot of good things for the Carolina Panthers. None of these assholes have earned even half of that, dude. So, yeah, peace out. Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. Brandon Herbert said, why was he even out there? Maybe because he'll actually catch the ball. Talking about Hogan. And, that's the whole thing, actually, is Hogan looks so silly returning it, so slow, but he actually caught it. And that right there is something that we should be almost excited about. So they asked Greg Olsen in the locker room about today's game, and his exact words were collective organizational failure.
God, he had thought that one out.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. It's obvious to everyone, man. Like, you're only allowed to mask your flaws for so long. I mean, we as fans, we watch this team every Sunday, every time they play. We're looking at the players, the formations. It's obvious to everyone, man, that there is some real bad juju underneath this football team right now. And it's going to take a real structured rebuild before next season can even think to have any kind of success.
How does this feel different to you than last year, Cody?
I don't know, man. I'm almost numb to it now. Like, it's the same shit year after year, or the past 2 years in a row. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong here, but it feels like I haven't watched Cam Newton play football in 2 years. Like, it feels like I haven't, like, I cannot remember the last time it was just like Cam Newton's playing well, and we're not having a conversation about some kind of injury. I don't know, man. It builds up. It seems like all these different problems have taken a lasting toll on fans and players, and I don't know how to feel, man, because it's you want to say, well, we lost, so we'll have a better draft pick. But, dude, there's no fight in this football team. And even if we have a better draft pick, man, it's very discouraging to see that, when the cards are down, when you have nothing to play for but your own morale, you don't even have what it takes to throw punches when your backs are up against the wall. It's not a good indictment.
All right. Tonight's episode of the C3 Panthers podcast is brought to you by CBS Sports HQ. It's the brand new streaming sports network. It's live 24/7 and costs you absolutely nothing. That's right. It's sports coverage that is always on and always free. You may be familiar with Jonathan Jones, former beat writer for the Charlotte Observer, who went on to Sports Illustrated. He just joined CBS Sports, and I know he's been doing a lot of work on CBS Sports HQ because it is coverage always focused on the game. Tons of highlights, breaking news as it happens, fantasy advice, and something we care about deeply here, gambling picks and analysis to get that edge. I know when I turn on CBS Sports HQ, I'll see tips and trends that I need to win my bets. And don't forget, you get access to all this great coverage completely free. Just download the CBS Sports app on your phone, Apple TV, Roku, Fire TV, or other connected devices at any time to watch CBS Sports HQ. No fake debates, just for real sports fans at the great price of completely free. You don't even have to log in or sign up or anything. Download the CBS Sports app and watch CBS Sports HQ today. Okay, so a lot to break down there. First, go into the Cam Newton part. At the beginning of this year, we said that it felt like years since we had seen Cam play. So, 15 games later, whatever it is that, it feels like an eternity since we've seen Cam. Number two is that it continues to show you how much life Cam Newton brought to this team. I heard Jim Zoki talking about this, and he said that when you go into the locker room on this team, guys aren't talking to each other. They're on their cell phones. They're, there's no personality to the team. So you lose... Yeah, and then you continue to lose, and it just nourishes that, right? That potential of disjointedness, or whatever. Then you see the guys like Thomas Davis in San Diego with 107 tackles, and you remember how much he lost of life, of, kind of who is the identity of his team. And that turns to the next point, is that, like, it's hard to watch when there's no angle to see where the future could go, right? And so it continues to come back and circle to Cam Newton. Will Cam Newton bring this team back to life next year? It looks like we're going to need him to, even though we get a top draft pick. I don't believe that going quarterback in this draft, I don't know if it's the right answer. You have to be very sure of the guy you want to get. Now, if you want to take a flyer on I can't say his name. You can say it. Say his name.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, very good. Well done. You've practiced that.
I'm really good. I'm really good at a lot of hard last names. It's actually kind of like I boast about it. But
yeah, well, you are fantastic about it. Maybe if he slips into the second, which I don't know if he would. I don't know, Cody. Do you think it's time to rebuild that identity at quarterback, or do you try to do that with Cam Newton as part of the team still? It's going to be hard, and I think that's why we can't see a step forward towards the future right now, and I think that's what's hard to watch about this team. But I don't know if it's as bad as you described with a team that wouldn't fight at all today. Vernon Butler literally fought.
Listen, I don't care what team you're on. Whenever you throw a punch at another man wearing a helmet, you're a dumbass, dude. That's just how it works. I don't make the rules. You're a dumbass. You're going to break your own hand, and you're not even getting into a real fight. If you want to fight, go to the octagon. But until then, you're hurting the team and quite literally hurting yourself. Okay? So, sorry.
What, did he break it? Yeah. He didn't get injured doing that, though, did he?
No, but I mean, it would have
just fined, and yeah. I mean, you're hurting the team. You're hurting. All right. The other thing, though, that I was, let me see. You had a lot of points you were breaking down when it came to days. Do you think that the team has quit entirely?
Oh yeah.
Really?
I think. No. So okay, like I just looked at a little bit of a Trey Boston interview, and he's still talking about, I mean, listen, that guy has been good for morale, and he's not giving up. He's still trying to fight and play and provide morale. But I mean, yeah, it's like if you're hearing reports of players just on their phones. Yeah, man, this is an organization in disarray, and you have to undo this if you're going to build it back up. And the problem is, and it's so hard to give an answer one way or another on any of the most pressing issues facing the Panthers, because so much of it is shrouded in mystery. We don't know the Cam Newton's health status when it surrounds his foot. We don't know if his shoulder is back to 100%. We assume and hope that it is. You're talking about a quarterback that's been hit the most since any other, or more than any other quarterback in the NFL since 2011. So from a logical standpoint, I understand why you would want to move on to a younger, less battle-worn quarterback. At the same time, I still just think that if you have a healthy Cam Newton on a bargain deal, David Tepper is going to take a real long look at having Cam Newton still be the quarterback for the Panthers next year, and telling whoever the coach, whoever they are, say, hey, you have one more year with Cam Newton, and then after that, if it doesn't work out, the choice of quarterbacks is yours. And that's what I've been saying that we should do. We have one more year of Cam Newton. Let him go out on his own terms as a Carolina Panther. And then if it's not him, there's a bunch of tremendous quarterbacks in the draft coming out in these next couple of years, and we might have an answer there.
All right, let's go to the next call, Cody. Try to listen as well as you can, all right?
To the YouTube video? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
C3 of Asheville. Not the most impressive performance by Will Greer, but, it's his first week. He's just kind of been dropped into an offense he doesn't really know all that well. Still think, some of his decision-making looks a little better than Kyle Allen to me. It's not really much of a scale to grade him on. But, I just want to bring up more of a talking point this week in my thoughts of the game, considering so much irrelevant at this point, much as I hate to say that. I just kind of want to get your thoughts on, next year we bring in a new head coach, and of course he's going to want his own personnel, and if he even wants to keep Cam Newton, I think that's the talking point as the head coach, depending on what his offense is going to look like. But you guys personally, let's just say you're the head coach of the Panthers next year, what 5 players do you have to hang on to? Like, you can keep 5 players who perform well from this season, and I just kind of want to know.
Hey, can you hear me?
Who's really impressed you this season? If you want to go into 10, feel free, but, I just...
It's not over on my end. Like there's so if it's ended for you, then that's it.
And they want to scrap the rest, go for it. But
he's still going.
Yeah, it's kind of get your thoughts on that. Not the most impressive.
Talking about head coaches. Today, but, all right, so if you're the guy going with the head coach, I think that's the thank you for the call, is that hopefully people could hear it. He's calling from an echo chamber. That's probably on me, because I've got this stupid-ass computer. And actually doing live broadcast, it turns out I'm not very good at them, Cody.
You get an A for effort.
I get an A for don't quit. You know what? Is nobody quit on this podcast. Each week we've been doing this. Thanks for the call.
You get an A for we're still doing this shit, dude, even though we're not great at it.
That's right. And even though it's not even easy to do it at this point. So your thoughts on head coach now. For me, I don't know if it's good, Cody, to just continue to speculate on who these coaches are, right? Is that, like, how do we know any more information than we knew last week? There's been no new information that's come out. For me, now I'm interested in, where does the timing of this start? Is that right now, is that as soon as teams are eliminated from the playoffs, right, we could, and the season's over. After next week, I think we can start talking to people. I'm not sure if you're asking people, though, that are on teams that are in the playoffs, which hopefully you're also trying to get from not losing teams, but from winning teams, then you have to ask for permission, to talk with them early a lot of times. And I don't know when that's going. So when do you see us starting to learn some more details about what's going to happen in Carolina?
Literally as soon as the season's over. I think that's when you're going to, before the playoffs start, that's when coaches are going to do some interviews, and they'll be able to inquire more about coordinators from other football teams and just seeing who's out there. I don't know, man. So this is why it was a good thing that we did fire Ron Rivera when we did, because it means that this process has already been underway from us. And, yeah, we still have no idea. No idea who the next coach is going to be. Everyone has their best guess, but no one really knows right now. We don't know if it's going to be Kevin Stefanski or McDaniels from the Patriots. There's a lot of different rumors, and who knows which ones are or aren't rooted in any kind of truth. So the coaching question, I'm hoping that you're going to start to hear legitimate rumblings about the next head coach as soon as the season's over. You're going to start to hear something. I would hope. I want to have a head coach and an assistant GM in the building before our draft process starts. So before we start looking at draft prospects, I want them to be a part of the process, especially the new general manager, but especially the coach. He needs to have some kind of say-so on what kinds of players he intends to build this football team with and the kind of players that he needs out on the field for us. So I'm hoping this happens like pronto. I'm hoping that we're one of the first ones linked to a coach out of every other team out there. I'm hoping it happens soon.
All right, let's go on to the next call. Cody, again, listen on YouTube, because that's what I have to do.
What's going on, guys? This is your boy, Brandon Herbert. Interesting game. It's still going on. We're getting our ass smacked, I know. But am I the only one that was actually rooting for Nyheim Hines to return that third kickoff? I actually stood up and applauded him. He should have had 3 kickoffs. I've never seen something suck so bad where somebody return 3 kick returns or punts. Never seen that in my life. But
everybody's going to be in the
I was
echo
actually
chamber.
rooting for him. I stood up and gave him a round of applause because if the team sucks that bad, then it's nothing more I can say. Really, I'm not going to be too critical about him. He's doing a great job of having us lose. Him and Kyle Allen. So both of these quarterbacks are actually giving us more and more reason to keep Cam Newton. So I'm actually enjoying it. He had an up and down game. He actually made a couple of good deep balls or whatever. And it really was nothing more to say about that. Christian McCaffrey, absolute monster. Still remain what I said about Luke Kuechly. I know everybody's being very, very critical of him, and I can see, I think some is fair and some is unfair because, like I said, the one that people claim that he's missing these tackles must not see a big offensive lineman in his face, which anybody that knows football knows that that's never supposed to be the case. An offensive lineman all the way downfield like that to block the second level is never supposed to happen. But yeah, there really was nothing too much to say about the game. Hey, hopefully we lose, the following week. Get a better draft pick, top 10 pick. That'd be always nice. Can't wait for next year. Anyway.
I don't hear you.
My shit. So we had less echo. So what I think we've learned at this point is that the C3 Panthers podcast has been right about a lot of things, right? And one of those is Cody has continued to talk about is how Luke Kuechly's deteriorated play. It's really very hard to evaluate if it's him at all. And you're talking about how those offensive linemen are continue to get to the second level. And then you saw just the same mistakes as usual. And why I can't get is that I think I saw I just don't understand why we're not trying to develop Brian Burns a little bit more, even as a 4-3 guy. Who we continue to see out there is Wes Horton. More Wes Horton. I don't know. And so I'm not even upset. I'm not upset about Luke Kuechly at all. I'm not upset about that. Is that I'm just gonna say here, this is a one-off year when it comes to Luke Kuechly, because these are how did Greg Olson again describe this meltdown?
Or complete organizational failure.
Yes. So words. And that is exactly what it was. And Brandon Herbert's right. Have you ever seen 2 punt returns to the house? That had to have been the worst special teams performance ever. Frank Wright, who was a former quarterback for the Carolina Panthers as we started as a team, one of the things I think is interesting too is that we had a flag. Do you remember that crazy flag debacle thing where there was a holding and I don't understand how they didn't offset. I guess they did offset, but they get the option of redoing the down, and they did that, and they said, oh, look, they're going to be tired out there, and he just took it to the house.
Yeah, and so yesterday, it's actually funny. Me and my brother were watching football, and we were quizzing ourselves by naming players and then we had to say what college they went to. Shout out Naheem Hines, went to NC State, repping the state of North Carolina. He was a good player at NC State, and he's been good for them. And I'm listen, if you're able to run the football back that consistently on special teams, more power to you, man. The special teams have been bad for a while, and I think that because when we were better on offense and defense earlier in the season, we kind of gave our special teams a pass. But all year, our special teams have been really bad. I mean, I always remember them being one of the liabilities of our football team. And again, I know I sound like a broken record, and sorry, Panther fans, there really just isn't a whole lot more to say other than this is a very badly coached football team. Our players are out of position. We don't know how to contain. And
they might not even just be good players, even a half of them. You know, I mean, if you really think about it, we're talking about this, is that if you go across that offensive line, let's just start with our offensive line. Who up there is good?
Well, I would say, even though he has had moments, I would still say that Paradis and Turner are good. I would still say that Moton is good. I think the inconsistencies due to injury on our offensive line have really played a part in our offensive line not being able to work together because they've had so many injuries. And, I mean, you have to really rep in practice in order to build up your offensive line to be a cohesive unit. And they haven't had the opportunity to do that. But I would still say the entire left side of the offensive line is a question mark. Greg Little, I don't know. His injury history is now already starting to be a concern with how much time he's missed. And as far as Greg Van Roten, he's injured as well, but I've never been a big believer in him as well.
Him being hurt might actually help us, to be honest. Him finishing the season hurt could help us because he can't command money, and maybe you get him for, and you don't know if he's any good either.
Yeah, we don't know a lot about, and that's the thing. And we've said it all season, with our coaching staff limiting the younger players and maybe not putting them in the best of positions and choosing favorites. Dante Jackson got thrown out with the starters fairly early in his career, and so did Greg Little. And then there are other guys that you never hear from again. I don't know. So Rex Smith said we might draft high enough to get Andrew Thomas, the Georgia left tackle. I would love that. I seem to think Andrew Thomas right now is probably a top 5 pick. I don't know if we're going to be picking quite that high, but Tristan Riffs is another name to look out for. But yeah, our offensive line, there's no cohesion. I don't think they've had enough meaningful practice time. And someone, Panther Forever James, kind of freaked out when I mentioned Matt Paradis. And yeah, Matt Paradis hasn't been great this year, but I also wouldn't say that he's been the liability on our offensive line either. I think he's pretty good at calling out protections. He knows where the play is going.
He's been okay. He's been okay, but yeah, there have been moments where he hasn't, where you're like, oh, this guy should have been better, and then it's hard to tell too. It's kind of like the Luke Kuechly thing. Is it only him? Is it the guy playing beside him? Is it, and the offensive line usually is a collective thing, so it is hard to evaluate them a lot individually. And I think Rex Smith is bringing some fantastic comments in the YouTube chat. He also said Bieniemy is my least favorite guy, which I agree with that entirely. He said, I'm trying though. Reed is, and he's referring to Andy Reid. Andy Reid is usually pretty honest. He hinted that Nagy was not ready to be a head coach. If he says Eric Bieniemy is ready, maybe he is.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's a great.
Bieniemy is the name that's been kind of going around for a long time now as someone that should be getting real coaching considerations. By the way, he's also a running back coach. So, I mean, imagine the types of ways that he would be able to get Christian McCaffrey involved in our offense. Like, Eric Bieniemy would certainly not be the
well, we haven't had a problem figuring that out.
No, right, and I understand that. We could do a lot worse than Eric Bieniemy. I tell you this, I'd 10 times rather Eric Bieniemy over Mike McCarthy.
Wow.
Way more.
Well, Mike McCarthy, I have been so anti Mike McCarthy. I'm trying to think, is it possible, would that be his second time or third time as a head coach? I wonder, did Mike McCarthy coach before Green Bay?
I think so, off the top of my head.
I do harbor the belief that getting a guy who has been a head coach before has some advantages.
By the way, shout out to Sports Live in the ATL. He said, "My God, your Panthers suck." Laughing my ass off.
Yes, thank you, Sports Live and the ATL. He even donated to the show. That's how bad he feels for us, is that the Panthers, you know what, enjoy it. I would enjoy it if you guys look bad. In fact, I laughed when I thought that the Titans might upset the Saints today as I was watching that. I was like, that was a kind of a bright moment for me.
Yeah, that was about to be pretty cool. Yeah, things are bad when Atlanta Falcons fans are like, "Oh, poor you guys."
Oh, gosh. Yeah, usually, he doesn't even feel, yeah. All right, so here, Mike McCarthy says he was offensive coordinator for the 49ers in 2005. And then he came to Green Bay in 2006 as a head coaching position there. And so it does look like he's only coached in Green Bay. Do you think there are advantages, Cody, in getting a guy who's been a head coach before? I think there is. Now, I don't want us to go and say people misconstrue this as me saying, well, that if you believe that, then Jeff Fisher is the best option. I just know that, look, is that Belichick had a run where he was fired. Andy Reid has been fired. And there does seem to be a benefit of knowing how to build a team holistically. And sometimes when you get coordinators who are thrust into head coaching jobs, that is difficult. But at the same time, Sean McDermott's doing pretty well in Buffalo.
Yeah, and you have to take a chance. These coordinators know, most of them want to be head coaches one day. So you have to kind of learn while you're the coordinator and see what the coach you're under at the time does well, what it doesn't do well, and kind of submit your own thing. Then there are some coaches that are less successful with other teams, and then they end up being good coordinators later on, or then they need a change of scenery. So Bill Belichick is the one that everyone shoots out there, right? He was with the Browns.
Well, Andy Reid, too. Andy Reid.
Yeah, Andy Reid.
But he didn't struggle. He was fantastic in Philadelphia.
And a lot of people are like, well, let's not hire Josh McDaniels because when he was with the Denver Broncos, it was terrible and the team was bad. But sometimes you just need to kind of go back to the wheel and start over with something that there's still potential left to be tapped. But I don't know. There's a lot of questions going forward about what kind of coach we would have. Brandon Herbert in the chat room is still throwing his hat in for Greg Roman. Again, that's another guy I'm not mad at. I would just worry about having to run Cam Newton so much in a Greg Roman style of offense. But I wouldn't be mad at that hire. And then shout out once again to Sports in the ATL. It says, I know I laugh and troll you guys, much respect. Yes, thank you for your donations, man. And I happen to know many people from the state of Atlanta, and they're not all bad, All
right, a couple of things. What about this? Is there a current draft status after today, before all the other games are over? Is that we're at 8, 5-10. We've lost 7 in a row. The Chargers. We need the Chargers to win today. We could use Denver winning. Those continue to help us. We need Miami to win. We need Arizona to win. And even if the Giants did they win? Oh, they won today. They've already played. They beat the Redskins today.
Yeah, they did. And the Cardinals and the Seahawks are tied at the moment. and I do not know what the Chargers.
Yeah, I don't expect the Cardinals to win. And
No.
I do expect the Chargers to win. And I do expect Denver to win. And they're behind right now by 3. But Detroit blows. They're playing Detroit. But Detroit has lost. Do you know something like, and this was like 5 weeks ago, that the Detroit Lions, out of 167 teams or something in NFL history, had blown more leads. They had like essentially blown 8 all of their losses this year. They had led in the game, and that had never happened before, like in the history of the NFL. So I don't feel, if you're Detroit, you don't feel confident up 3 here.
No, no, not at all.
So here are the, and Lynn asked this. She said, "What's the highest we can get to?" All right. So really, right now we're at, according to this, we're at 8. The teams right in front of us, there are 3 teams that have 4 wins: the Giants, the Dolphins, the Cardinals, and Jacksonville. No, that's it. So any one of those teams win, and we lose the last game, like we will, that could help us. I don't know how they figure out the tiebreaker here. But our position can move up maybe, I think, at the most 6. Can we crack top 5, Cody?
See, I don't.
It would take all of those teams actually winning.
Yeah,
again.
It would take a whole lot for us to be top 5. And I have a sneaking suspicion, man. Top 10 is going to be good enough. We're gonna get a damn good player if we're picking between 5 and 10. If you're good at drafting, you should hit on no matter what the player you pick in the first round is. If you have a general manager and a scouting staff that's worth the damn and can evaluate talent. But I don't. I think right now our chances of getting top 5 are probably pretty slim. But our chances of staying in the top 10, I think, are pretty good. So.
I think, is that it's almost solidified, I feel like, at this point, that we stay in the top 10. I don't know if that's for certain, but it doesn't feel like we're surrendering our top 10 spot at the moment.
No. And it helped Atlanta. Shout out to Sports Live and the ATL for another $2. But Atlanta won today, which that helped us a little bit. But the Jaguars losing, I don't know which helped us more. The Jaguars losing or the Falcons winning, I don't know.
Who did the Jags lose to?
Atlanta.
Oh, okay, they were playing Atlanta. All right, yeah, I got that pick right. Baltimore wins. Indy. Miami won today. The Jets won. How about that? The Jets beat Pittsburgh.
Insane. Isn't that funny?
Yeah,
That's
they actually, that hurt their status. The Jets were 5-9. That actually helped us a ton. The Jets are now 6-9. That is a giant. That one helped us a ton. I don't know if I saw us picking ahead of the Jets before this. So we really need the Chargers to win. We need the Broncos to win. And somehow if the Cardinals can win, all of a sudden that would really keep us where we're at, maybe move us up one spot. Cody, let's continue with the cat calls. We still got a couple to go. Remember, you got to listen on YouTube, and remind me, I got to unmute my mic.
Okay.
What in the fuck did I just waste my time watching? Like, really? What the fuck was that? I mean, I get it. Will Greer ain't never started a game before in the NFL. But god damn. Like, really? I get it. The season's over for us, but motherfucker, you can't try to pull out a win. You can't put a little effort on it, it's a gas station hot dog at this point, but you can't put some goddamn ketchup, mustard, and maybe even a little bit of that relish on this shit. No. We're just gonna trot out there and shit the fucking bed again. And now I get to listen to my fucking bullshit-ass brother-in-law fucking talk
even the
about this
relish
shit for
pack.
months, like they just won the Super Bowl. Does his team beat mine? Man, what the fuck? Like, what is going on here? No, I get it. People go, well, it's not the most talented team. Really? Like, take a look around that roster. There's some talent, and it is just underperforming because, to me, it looks underprepared. And, I mean, I wasn't expecting a blowout
My
win
brother's a Saints fan,
direction,
Josh.
but
I feel you, brother.
I wasn't expecting to get goddamn embarrassed. And now I'm out here walking my dog, waiting for him to take a shit at the park. Man, and the most embarrassing part about this isn't the fact that my dog is taking a shit. It's the fact that I'm wearing Panthers blue up here and trying not to be seen. Like, come on, man. Come on. Skip. I don't know what else to say, boys. I guess we just missed some opportunities, didn't we? Yeah. Gonna have to hang on to that little gem for a while. You already know who it is. Josh from Mass. What a disaster today was. What a disaster next week is going to be, although, you know what? It'll fuck us up in draft position, so we'll probably beat the Saints next week. That's the way that's going to go. But, love you all. Love the show. Panther Nation, I love all of y'all. Keep pounding. And, in the words of Bill Belichick,
I tell you one thing, who survives this, Cody, is Ron Rivera actually got out of everybody, that's the one who got the favor done, is that, imagine if his face was imprinted still on this ending to this team. We did him a solid by jettisoning him from this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, man, and listen, I want to ice up all the dumbasses that are now like, oh, we shouldn't have fired Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera should have stayed. Hey, morons, this is still Ron Rivera's coaching staff. Like, this team was...
and it's his team, too.
Once you gave Ron Rivera the axe, I mean, there are people that are like, oh, this proves it. They're not playing for anybody. They were playing for Ron Rivera. And look, maybe they were. I've said, no doubt. The Panthers,
well, I think we would be better with him. You know, I think we would have been better this week and last week with him. But that doesn't
doesn't vindicate him. It doesn't vindicate.
Yes, exactly.
It doesn't make our decision to fire him the wrong move or the wrong idea. Yeah, man. And then like there are people like the guy that used to be the offensive lineman for the Panthers, Jeff Schwartz. Dude, that guy is the worst, okay? That guy does nothing but hit on Cam Newton. He does nothing but talk crap about Panther fans. And dude,
he hasn't been showing up in my Twitter feed, thankfully. I wonder if I muted him or if he blocked me.
Well, that's the reason I bring it up, because he's out there putting, we shouldn't have fired Ron Rivera. It was such a mistake. Look what's happening. Like, dude, a lot of these guys that are connected to football really don't know shit about football, man. And I know that's, stupid because he played and I've never played in fucking NFL football, but, dude, some things are just obvious. You have to see what's going on. Like, I don't know who expected this to be a better football team when Ron Rivera left. Like, why would anyone think it was going to get better?
All right, let's go on to the next call, okay?
Yep.
Hey, guys. Kyle from VA. On my way into work, just finished watching the game, and wow.
Shit.
I mean, the Colts just pretty much did what 49ers did to us. I think this game right here is a perfect representation of what this season has been. It's just been bad defense. I mean, they ran the ball down our throat all damn game. It's been lack of discipline from everyone. It's been bad quarterback play, and I just want to say that I'm not giving up on Greer just because of this performance. Because, like I said on Twitter, I mean, you put them out there the last 2 games of the season. I mean, yeah, they're still playing for their checks, but I mean, this team is just defeated, man. And then you bring in like these receivers that haven't even played all year, and you expect him to throw the ball to them. Like, you can't put that on Greer, man. I mean, he made some bad decisions.
This is what I wanted to ask you about, too. So, this is a good call.
Showed a little bit of pocket awareness and a little bit of on talent, but, I mean, this team has just gotten their ass whooped at every corner of the season. And, I mean, it's just showing, man. This team is defeated. I've never seen a more, I hate to use this word, but pathetic looking team, man. And I know that some of these guys have put their all into it, man, but all around it's been bad. It's just been one of the worst seasons I've ever seen. And our coaches fucked this up from the beginning. The players didn't make it any better. Still not seeing Brian Burns out there, and then I saw he got hurt. I'm just praying that he's okay. That would just rip my fucking heart out right now. I mean, and DJ, Jesus Christ, man, this game was terrible. But if you want to look on the bright side, our draft stock.
All right, Cody, tell me first, before I ask you my question, what was the extent of the Brian Burns injury?
I still haven't found an answer. I haven't seen it. Let me I'll check Reddit. But I haven't seen anything on Twitter.
So the other thing that I'm interested in is that I'm actually heartened by Will Greer's performance. I think that if anything, we could have seen him a little bit earlier. I think if he comes out next week and looks a little bit better than he did today, that I would feel really good going into next season about the Cam Greer combo. Do you think that Will Greer's performance today helped you or helped solidify the discussion that Kyle Allen doesn't need to be part of the Panthers' plan moving forward, period? Because that's how I feel, is that I really don't even think wasting a roster spot for him after camp at the very minimum is worth it.
Yeah, I would. I mean, you spent a third-round pick on Will Greer, whereas Kyle Allen went undrafted and didn't even win the backup job last year. I wouldn't mind maybe putting him on the scout team. It's not like he has no value to us, but he also needs a new contract. Because when you're an undrafted free agent, I think the lease under contract is like 2 years or something like that. So
I think he's a restricted free agent right now. I don't expect anybody else giving him an offer sheet that we have to match. So it would be cheap to keep him, I'm guessing. But right now, I don't think there's any need to.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think that there's anything Kyle Allen can do better than Will Greer. Again, man, this is why it's so disappointing that we didn't start Will Greer first, because we knew who Kyle Allen was. And to be honest with you, I'm going to be kind of neutral on Will Greer. I'm not. So as I said earlier, I'm not blaming a lot of those interceptions on him. I'm not mad at him for taking chances and trying to move the ball and distribute the ball as a good quarterback should. I think he showed good pocket awareness. He was able to evade
he was playing down from 2 touchdowns too.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's only one game, and it really isn't enough of a sample size to accurately say whether or not Will Greer is anything.
No, but you know what it is it does help me answer that weird question that a lot of people continue to pose when it came to like why we weren't trying Will Greer at all. Is like he's this fragile little baby that's going to be broken because this game is so hard. I didn't walk away feeling like that at all. He looked like a man out there. He looked like as soon as he started to feel things, that he was ready to compete. And that's fine. That's all I needed to see. I just need to see that he wasn't a broken individual back there. And that alone is enough, because Kyle Allen didn't show any more than that. Kyle Allen looked flustered, out of control. Is that the team helped Kyle Allen in those first couple of games. The team didn't do anything to help Will Greer today. The rest of the team. No. I mean, just think of it. The defense.
I think our offensive line looked better against Seattle than it did against the Colts. And yet during that game with Seattle, I said Will Grier or Kyle Allen was the problem with our offense. That he was the number one problem with our offense, even over our offensive line against Seattle. I think that our offensive line was even worse today, and I felt Will Grier did a much better job, and he was not the worst thing about our offense today, not even close. I think it does show a lot more potential. You use a third-round pick on him. You have him for a little while. He's already on contract. You have Cam Newton on contract. There isn't any place that isn't the practice squad that Kyle Allen has on this team. I mean, we're either going to move on from him or he's going to be running the scout team. But
all right,
his career is pretty much up.
Let's jump to the next call.
Hey guys, Kyle again. One more call. I just want to just give a huge thank you to Christian McCaffrey for what he's done for us this season. I mean, he's given 150% on every damn snap this season. And it's sad because because we're such a bad team this year that he's not even going to be considered for the MVP vote. Because if you look at what the most valuable player to a team, you can't tell me anyone's more valuable to a team than Christian McCaffrey is to us this season. No one comes close. He is the whole damn offense, man. He is. It's just sad to see he's not even going to be considered because he had such a shit season. But hopefully next year, man, we can get Cam back healthy and we can keep him healthy and get some good draft picks, get this coaching staff right. I'm sick of seeing these dumb fucks on the sideline every Sunday. It's looking stupid. Fucking not playing Brian Burns, and then when he comes out there, he got hurt. And it's fucking, I'm over these coaches, dude. Fire everybody. And let's get this shit turned around and get this Carolina Panthers team back on top.
Yeah, me too.
He found him.
All right, let's power through to the next call, all right?
Yep.
Hey. You know who it is. What's up, fellas? This is G, baby. Like I told you guys, the reason why Mr. Will Grier has been playing is because he ain't about that fucking smoke out. That was a terrible performance.
G, baby!
That was just pathetic. Where's all the Cam haters now? Seriously, that's the real question. I really don't have nothing else to say. I was reading something that 2 teams lose. We could end up having the 8th pick by the end of today. If not, we're already the top 10 pick. We're picking at pick 10 right now, so keep pounding. That's all I gotta say, man. Keep pounding.
Last call of the night.
Hey, what's up, guys? Man, I forgot who it is. C3 Carolina Panthers podcast. This is your boy, Sports 5 and ATL David, man. I just wanted to say, man, hey, despite everything that I've given you all the last couple of weeks, man, much respect to you guys. Tough road for the Carolina Panthers and the Falcons, but hopefully next year both of our teams can get back to playing some good football and make the NFC South a division to be proud of. As far as for me, I don't believe in tanking, so I want to keep winning. And the Carolina Panthers, I don't know what y'all plans are doing of Cam Newton or whatever, but you guys got to decide what's going on. But much respect to you guys. You guys were able to take everything I was dishing out. So, hey, much appreciated, man, the battle, and much respect to your channel and all Panther fans. And we all will rejoice when the Poodaps lose for the 3rd straight year in the playoffs. Watch my channel when it happens, because I will laugh my effing ass off. Lose for the 3rd straight year in the playoffs.
All right. Yes, thank you for that call, man. And you know what is that? It's interesting that the NFC South has fallen from grace entirely, and that the Panthers and the Falcons, the Panthers are at the bottom depths. The Falcons rung ahead of us, but they don't look as bad as their record has been, and that kudos to them. I don't even think we're tanking. I think we're just that bad. How about Tampa Bay, though, fighting hard? Who would have thought that Tampa Bay would have been playing so well over the last couple of games? Did they lose today, Cody?
They played yesterday, and they lost to Houston.
That's right. It was yesterday. They did lose to Houston, but they were in it into the end until Jameis Winston threw another pick as usual. But you're right, is that there are 3 teams in this division that are terrible, and the Panthers are the worst out of all of them. And on top of that is that we don't really there's more questions for our team than there are even when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that is surprising, Cody, is that the idea is that at least the Bucs got their coaching staff installed at this point. Jameis Winston, they're probably going to bring him back again. We don't know who. We're just we're just bobbing in the ocean without any direction, without a motor, without anything. I do think Cam Newton comes back next year. I think we'd be foolish not to have him back. And I don't see any world, even if we get a top 10 draft pick and we did get a rookie quarterback, I think you do bring back Cam Newton on that contract, and you potentially wait for Cam Newton to either get hurt, finish the season out, and unless he does something just extravagant, then you already kind of are working on 2020 when it comes to that coach and his plan for your quarterback. So is there a chance that the Panthers draft a quarterback that they think is the guy that starts in 2020 and bring back Cam, Cody?
I don't know if you would do both of them. So, for example, I don't know if you tell Cam. I mean, that's essentially saying, especially if you go with a first-round pick, you're essentially saying that, you're not our future quarterback. No matter
it's like what Green Bay did with Brett Favre.
Yeah, but even still, there was a foreseeable future where Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to be or where Brett Favre wasn't going to be the quarterback for the Packers. Whereas Cam Newton is just 30 years old. So if Cam Newton is going to be the quarterback next year and he plays well, then he's going to be the quarterback for the foreseeable future. So if we draft a quarterback in the first round, Cam Newton era is 100% over in Carolina. That's just the way it is. Real quick good news update. The Cardinals are a touchdown ahead of the Seahawks right now.
Holy cow.
So that's happening.
Denver's tied it up. Oakland is winning. That one hurts us.
And then to Sports Live in Atlanta. Appreciate the phone call. And this is the same division with 2 teams that in back-to-back years went to the Super Bowl and held the league MVP on their team in back-to-back years. And now the Falcons and the Panthers are both dumpster fires. So
he says that he believes that Quinn comes back after the second half of the season. That's going to be interesting.
I mean, they're playing for him. That's for damn sure, man. Yep. They're playing for Dan Quinn's job, and they know it.
It kept Ron Rivera's job long enough, that type of action.
Yeah.
All right, so we're heading out to Lynn. I just want to remind everybody, hey, Cody, can you do a show on Thursday? That would be the day after Christmas.
I believe so. Yeah. All
right. Well, let's shoot for Thursday, and since the Tuesday night will be the typical. It would not be the typical. It'd be our typical time, but we have Christmas Eve there, and I know I'm going to be busy. So let's get back on Thursday night. We'll continue this conversation. Thanks to everybody's support. Lynn, congrats on moving. I know she's moving east. She's heading from the West Coast to the East Coast, joining us, our Southern Hicks now. And now you get to see your team on really just on the network channel. You'll love that, is that each week you don't have to find some desperately
did you say Lynn's moving to this part of the world?
Yeah, she's moving to South Carolina.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, next month. So congrats to her, and congrats to us, because we get a good person. One addition, like we're adding a good person to the Carolinas. We can appreciate that.
That means for sure next year we'll all be at a game together and meet up, all that good stuff.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, so the number's 252-228-5098. You can call in before Thursday. I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and thanks for supporting the show. Thank you. Don't worry, we're going to be here. I'll get all of these audio intricacies worked out over the next week, and so Thursday we'll be rocking and rolling. I'll be on game. Look, it's hard when things are going down and the Panthers are losing, and then the show goes screwed up. It really is just like an addition. It's an extension of the game today is the audio not working. Cody Lashney, how can they talk to you before Thursday?
At Cody Lack, CODYLAC on Twitter. I also wanted to, give a very thankful shout out to all the fans of our podcast, both audio and video. Your support is why we do this. We love doing it. We love being your Panthers therapy session, and just to kind of give some hints on what's to come. There's some changes coming to the Carolina Panthers with David Tepper and a brand new coach. So we feel like we have a dedicated enough fan base now that the C3 podcast, we're going to experiment. We're going to try and do some brand new segments. We're going to try and do some things to keep it fun, keep your attention throughout the off season when things are kind of on a downturn. But we love doing it. We're going to usher in a new era of Panthers football. We're going to be here for you. And until next time, much love from your boy.
All right, subscribe, share, and be back here on Thursday. Or B Square will be here after the post game next week as well.